Hey guys, it's Siobhan with ToKittyandBeyond. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing monthly horoscope readings for Virgo, and this is for Virgo Sun, Moon, or Rising, and it can also apply to Virgos or if you just have Virgo heavily in your chart, or if you were just called to click on this video, then there's probably some messages here for you. But keep in mind that this is a general reading, so not everything's going to apply to everybody. So just take what resonates with you and leave the rest here. This month, I'm not going to be doing the monthly spread like I normally do. If you're new to the channel, I usually have like a monthly spread with everything from where you're at energetically to the advice and encouragement from a spirit. But I was guided this month to do a freestyle type of reading and just see what comes through in a more borderless type of way. So if you guys are on board for that, then stick around and let's just get into the reading. All right, so I'm going to start with some Crystal Ascended Master cards. Actually, let me shuffle them down here so they're not so loud. I've pre-shuffled all my cards, but I always like to give them a quick little bit just for good measure. Okay, so Virgo, what is going on February 2020? Virgo, February 2020. Okay, so we got two. Okay, you have Higher Will, which is Ascended Master El Moria and Blue Star Sapphire. And Individuality, which is Angel, Iahel, and Labradorite. Labradorite is one of my favorite crystals. It's very connected to the third eye chakra, as is Blue Sapphire as well as the throat chakra. Both of these are sort of interchangeable in the throat and third eye. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Let's grab some of these. Individuality and Higher Will. Those seem like two kind of opposites. Wow, that's interesting. I split the deck and you got the throat chakra here. So I associate the throat chakra with obviously authentic communication and self-expression through words, but I also associate the throat chakra with divine trust. So when I'm working with clients through the Reiki, oh yeah, I forgot to say that in the beginning. I'm an intuitive tarot therapist, a spiritual counselor, and a holographic Usui Reiki master for those of you who are new here. So we go into the throat chakra, and a lot of the time what will happen is that there will be a distrust from the ego of the higher self. And because it seems like it's out of the ego's hands, you know what I mean? And so there's a fear there at following your divine life path out of fear that it will lead you into circumstances that are difficult or painful. And the ego, can sometimes block the higher will, so that's where that individuality can sometimes block the higher will, because the individuality in the lower sense can be referring to the ego. So let's see what comes through here. So we have material harvest, emotional loss, and universe. Wow. So the material harvest card is that higher will. It's clarifying right underneath there. So that material harvest is all about when you're in alignment with your higher will, when you trust in your divine soul path and you live and make choices in alignment with that soul path, you will see your abundance blossom in your life. The material harvest is the Nine of Pentacles, and this really speaks of all of your manifestations coming to fruition. And it does take discipline, hard work, and perseverance, as well as patience. But the Nine of Pentacles has gotten to that point. But again, we've got the emotional loss here when it comes to the individuality. So that's that feeling that there's a cost, or that there's a price to pay, or that there's a potential of the journey to bring loss. And sometimes that is the case, especially if you're having to let go of something for something better to take its place. But the ego can sometimes hold on to things out of attachment, and it will resist change, even if it is for your highest good, simply because it's used to that, or it's grown, like I said, it's an attachment rather than when you live in non-attachment. as the soul does. You know that things are infinite, that you are infinite, that love is infinite, and that you're connected to everything. Like the universe card here says, you're quite literally the universe in human form, and the soul knows that, the higher will knows that, and so it lets go of things with ease because it knows that it's not actually losing anything. But the ego, or the individual self, the human self, whoever you are watching this, however you identify yourself, by your name, by what you like, by who you surround yourself with, by what you do for a living, those are all sort of 3D concepts of who you are. They're not who you are at soul level. They're who you are here temporarily in this incarnation, but they're not who you are. And this emotional loss can sometimes come from that attachment to things, or to people, or to locations, or to careers. It literally anything. We attach ourselves to all sorts of things. So this universal energy is coming in and reminding you that things will always be provided for you in your highest need of them. So the higher will always provide for you what you need, but sometimes you'll have to let go of certain things that just aren't for you anymore. So let's get some clarity on the emotional, they want me to do emotional loss first. So what emotional loss is this? Sometimes, an ego death can also feel like an emotional loss when you lose kind of who you thought you were and you grow into a larger version of yourself, completing a cycle with this 21, the universe, it's the world card. So this is the completion of a cycle. You've come full circle. You've returned back to where you were initially, and you're different now. You might be the same person, but you're not, because you have all these new experiences and all this new wisdom. And I love how this card with the emotional loss has the Fibonacci spiral in the form of that, what are those shells called? Ammonite. In the ammonite shell. It's that divine repetition of cycles of the universe, how everything is connected and repeating. It's that spiral effect you see in the universe card too. So, okay, what's this emotional loss concerning for Virgos? What is this emotional loss concerning? Maybe these cards don't have anything to say. They don't. Okay, so we're going to go with these cards. What is this emotional loss concerning for Virgo? Oh, Virgos, you don't want to let something go. These cards are not coming out. There's something, yeah. Wow, the Star card, my favorite card in the deck. Okay, guys, so there's a little bit of resistance when it comes to letting something go. But this is how you're getting to this completion of a cycle. It's bringing something better. And the Star card really speaks of healing, deep emotional, physical healing, and being guided through hope into this new phase of your life. It's a whole new era is what I'm hearing. It's the end of an era, and that can be really emotionally difficult. But it's the beginning of a new era. A beautiful, abundant era. And there may be changes in your physical reality, your material basis. And as an earth sign, you're very connected to that. So maybe there's a little bit of resistance there around losing something that you've worked so hard towards, or you've invested a lot of time and energy into. There may be a resistance towards a change in your finances, whether it's more or less. Most people won't complain about more money, but it's the change, right? It's that feeling of change that I'm feeling this resistance towards, especially since we have 2 5s. That's where they just drew my eye. So the 5 in the individuality and the 5 in the emotional loss really speak of change. But again, this is divinely guided change. It's all directed by the higher will. and it's the completion of a cycle. 9 is closure, 21 is a 3, which is the beginning of a new cycle. So with each ending, you get a new beginning, and the star card reminds you of that. It guides you through the closure process so that you can be renewed and refreshed, come out on the other side, reborn. So what's going on in the material realm? Oh, that's way too many cards. What's going on in the material realm for Virgos? Oh, so we ask about the material, and you've got beautiful love here. So there might be new opportunities for love. Or, okay, what they're showing me here, especially with these two together, oh, these are just such a beautiful combination. You guys, if you can let go of something that you've grown attached to and release and surrender that attachment through the awareness of your higher self, that higher will, and trusting in the process, you're going to be so rewarded. It's like an influx of this beautiful love energy from the universe. It's like this expansion of your consciousness and this filling of your heart. And you'll see the results of that, first of all, in your energy and in your body. And then second of all, it will ripple out into your interactions with other people, into your finances, into your level of fulfillment that you have in whatever kind of work you're doing. So that's beautiful. It's this inner peace that comes from that. So yeah, this emotional loss is going to be the challenge to overcome this month, but if you choose to see it from that higher perspective, it's going to be so beautiful. Yeah, so the strength card keeps popping out. Okay, we've got I wasn't going to take the whole chunk of cards, but I'm going to. So we have the strength card, and that's kind of what I was talking about with, you know, releasing some of that attachment. It does take self-discipline. It does take that inner strength to tame the fear of loss and that sort of inner beast, which we can relate to the ego. So there's a little bit of resistance there coming from like the human aspect, the physical aspect, which is again represented by this lion. That's kind of like our animal nature. That's our physical self. And then we've got the temperance angel here, who represents self-discipline, balance, and unity consciousness, which is your soul self. So that's your higher self. That's why she's got the infinity sign over her head. That's the infinite nature of the universe connected through her crown chakra. So now we have also the 3 of Swords, the 7 of Swords, the Hierophant in reverse, and I want to talk about these before I lay out the next 2 cards that were sort of like the outcome. So this is kind of what's being asked to let go of. This may be a relationship that's coming to an end. This looks like, you know, because the Hierophant is in reverse here, this could be a commitment, even a marriage that's coming to an end after a period of deception and heartache. And, you know, this is not a nice energy to be in. And so even though there's attachment there, even though it's familiar to you, despite the fact that it's painful, there's still that willingness to try and fix it or to stick around, or it's, you know, but if you're, now take this only if it resonates with you. If you're feeling called to walk away, then you're feeling called to walk away for a reason. And it won't be like a fleeting, in the moment type of feeling. It will be a deep, deep inner knowing that it's time for this to come to a close. So that's where this cycle is ending. There is emotional loss here around it though, because yeah, this is painful. It's not something that is enjoyable to go through. Of course not. Any kind of a separation or a breakup or a divorce or loss of employment, anything like that, it's a real blow, especially to the ego, which we see here in the Swords cards. It's the mind. But it also affects the heart, because those two are in constant communication. You've got your heart mind and then you've got your brain mind, and they're constantly communicating, hopefully in harmony, because that will help you to align with that higher will, that heart-centered information. But now the star comes in, again, it's like the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul, but this star card comes in to guide you out. It's the light at the end of the tunnel. And I know that that's cliche, but it really does apply here. And it's just having the strength and the courage to push forward with what you know is going to benefit you long term. And that may mean material changes, especially if you're going through a divorce. You know, there's going to have to be a settlement. You're going to have to work out who gets what. Those are some pretty significant material changes. And for an earth sign such as yourself, if you are an earth sign watching this, then, you know, that can be a little bit jarring. You know, not to generalize, but earth signs have a tendency towards being very connected to the material realm and especially their things and their finances. So, you know, if you have to cut that in half, that's pretty significant emotional loss right there. But in the outcome, you guys have the 3 of Cups and the 9 of Cups. So I see this as you eventually getting to the point where you can celebrate this new beginning. Yes, it's the end of an era, but like I said, it's also the beginning of a new era. So you have the 3 of Cups, which is rejoice and celebration. Maybe you go out with your friends. Maybe you finally get to have some time with your, you know, your wider group of social people, your friends, your family, whatever it was, or whatever it is for you. And the 9 of Cups is individual fulfillment. So again, the 9 representing a closure, but the 9 also represents independence. And so you've got 2 9s here, 1 of Cups and 1 of Pentacles. So you're gaining emotional independence as well as financial independence, even though there may be some necessary changes that are required to kind of bring that to full circle, bring it full circle. Now there is a bit of a warning here with this 3 of Cups and the 9 of Cups. Okay, for some people this is a warning, for some people it is not. It will really depend on you. It will depend on you. So take this if it resonates. The warning would be not to rely on alcohol as I'm hearing the words drowning the pain. So don't rely on alcohol as a tool to cope, because that's not going to help your heart to heal. Self-love is going to help your heart to heal. You know, faith, trust, and keeping the hope is going to allow your heart to heal, and the strength to be able to do that. So if you are going through this and you feel like you can't do this on your own, please reach out to me or somebody that you trust who can support you. I have intuitive tarot therapy under my belt, and Reiki healing is so transformational at an emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual level. So if you guys feel called to that, please reach out to me, because using alcohol as a coping mechanism to deal with the pain, it only pushes it down, and it will continue to fester within, and it will eventually get worse until the point where it has to come out, and sometimes that can happen in traumatic ways. So don't repress it. I'm speaking here from experience. I've been through a lot in my life, and I have used alcohol in the past to cope, and that's not something that I recommend. Finding Reiki really changed my life, and I'm so thankful for that. So, okay, let's see what's going on. What else here? Anything from this deck? Okay. So we did have a few come out. It was resistant before, but now it's opened up a little. So you have the Queen of Wands. Beautiful, beautiful energy. This is growth. This is finding your new passion. This is really standing in your power and owning it, and being creative too. It's coming up with new creative ways to move forward. And you have the Star again. Oh, Virgo, yay, this makes me so happy. The Star card is again my favorite card in the deck, but I love it when you get doubles, because the double is like a message from spirit to pay particular attention to that energy, because that's the energy that you're going to be working with over the course of the next month or more, depending, right? So you also have the 2 of Wands, which is making a decision, moving in a new direction. You might even be thinking about traveling, or this could be in relation to just moving in general. And then you have the 8 of Swords. So I really feel as though you're freeing yourself from this Eight of Swords energy. You're freeing yourself from the mental restrictions that you've put on yourself based on these attachments. You know, these are ego limitations you're saying to yourself out of fear. You know, this is what I have to stick with it. It's a fear of the future. It's a fear of the unknown is really what it is. But that's not going to get you to where you want to go, and nor is it going to get you where you could go, which by the cards here looks absolutely beautiful. So, you know, this star card is just it's such a luscious, beautiful, renewing energy. It's like an oasis in a desert. It's finding that luxury oasis, not only with the water, but with all the plants and the fruit and the sweetness. So this is the hope and the faith that even though you may feel like you're in a storm, there is that sweetness of life still available for you. And it's really just now about taking back your power. So you may feel like you're cast out. You may feel as though you've been exiled, or again, this is the separation, right? So that separation, that fear of separation, it's limiting. Look at the bindings that she's got on. She's covered her eyes so that she can't see. But the beautiful part of this is that it's all in her head. The swords, she thinks that they're around her in a cage, but they're not. They're open and she can walk forward at any time, and those bindings are loose. She can take them off at any time. And the water at her feet, representing her emotions and her intuition, is actually what's going to guide her forward out of that mental self-limitation. So this month, you guys, is very much about connecting with your emotions, even if that's painful. It's getting out of your head a little bit, diving deep into those emotions, even if it feels uncomfortable, and trusting your intuition and your higher self to guide you forward out of some of these limitations or these unhealthy relationships, or whatever the separation is. It's the ending of a contract, it's the ending of a vow, it's the ending of some kind of commitment. Yeah, it's just the ending of some kind of commitment. Okay, so let's grab I'm going to grab one of the animal, druid animal oracle cards. What card for Virgo this month? Oh, it's this one. Oh, you have the crane. Okay, so let's see what it says for crane. Okay, so the crane is secret knowledge, patience, and longevity. It did come out in reverse, but I'll read both meanings, the upright and the reverse meaning. So the upright meaning is crane brings the qualities of patience, perseverance, focus, and concentration, standing for hours peering into the water until the time comes to dart at its prey. It guides others into the underworld to help them with their transition at the time of dying, or with their journeying in the inner realms. Besides an ability to work in the underworld, the crane symbolizes arcane science or secret knowledge, which in the Druid tradition is represented by the Ogham script, the tree language of Druidry. In its widest sense, learning this language involves learning to read the book of nature. All right, so the reverse meaning is the crane stands alone for hours, but it will also join others to fly or dance. The crane reversed may signify a need to find a balance between being alone and being with others. Spending too much time alone can create feelings of isolation. Having no time to oneself can be an avoidance of self-knowledge and loneliness. The shadow side of the crane manifests as harshness, meanness, and a nagging, complaining disposition. If this describes you, try to relate to the deeper aspects of the crane, in which it becomes an animal of the goddess as crone or wise woman. Ask yourself if you are denying the wise woman, who has a knowledge of death and the underworld, and whether your negative behavior may be a reflection of this denial. Interesting. So I see this crane energy as connecting you, first of all, with the book of nature. That's your higher will. As an earth sign, you guys very much connect to the goddess, the earth energy. That can be an access point for you, or a jumping off point to get to that higher consciousness, that higher self. It's connecting with nature. And it's different for everybody, for every sign, and for each individual, whether you are a Virgo or not. But that's why you have individuality here. I love that. So it's because everybody's individual, and it's not going to be like a one thing, one size fits all. It's not going to work for everybody, but there are certain things that can work for a large majority of people, and connecting to the earth and the emotions can help. As can be seen in the star card, she's pouring water onto the earth and on into the water there. So it's the balance between the emotions and the physical aspects of life, and bringing healing to both of those. So I see this crane as patience and perseverance to get through this. And you've got the courage card there to help you with that as you move through some of these transitions. I really see this as wisdom coming through for you. Wisdom from that higher will. It's trusting and allowing that to guide you forward. And authentic self-expression is also going to be important. With all these cups here, it's going to be important to speak from the heart, and rather than from the mind. Okay. Yeah, as it was talking about spending too much time alone, feelings of isolation. So we do have these two cards that are kind of independent cards. And as you're going through a transition like this, it can be, sort of urging you to get out and be with your friends. If you have been alone, or if you're going through some kind of a transition and you've just kind of been staying inside a lot and focusing on yourself, that's good too. But again, it's like balance, right? We need to have balance for everything. So it's connecting with your social group, or people that you love, or who will support you through this change. And that can really be beneficial. And again, I'm speaking from experience here, because I work from home, and I have a tendency to be an introvert and hermit myself. So my spirit guides are always telling me, like, hey, you should call so-and-so, you should get out of the house today, you should go for a walk out in the forest. So those messages are valid for everybody. And so I'll share them with you, because, in those things, it is kind of it applies to everybody. All right, guys. So Virgo, that was your reading for February. It looks overall very, very good. It's very promising. So don't let any of those negative sort of aspects of change or the completion of this cycle freak you out, because you have so much divine guidance backing you up. You have a lot of creativity and opportunities for growth here, massive opportunities for growth, healing, and expansion. So really own it and have the courage to move forward with that. Again, if you guys need any additional support, you can reach out to me at services.ToKittyandBeyond@gmail.com. All of the information for pricing of my services is in the description box below this video. And I'm still offering 33% off of my Reiki. So if you guys are wanting some deep energetic work, we can do that for you for $97, 90 minutes, live Skype, long distance Reiki healing, and regularly priced at $144. And we go really in depth into each one of your 7 main chakras. We do clearing, alignment, balancing, healing. I've had so many wonderful clients lately. Thank you so much if you're one of them, because you'll know, like, the sessions are just so transformational. Everything from entity removal to cord cutting to soul origins to spirit totems to spirit guides coming forward, individual guidance as to what's going to benefit you on your soul journey as you carry forward, to live your life in alignment and to connect with your higher self on a more regular basis, and creating abundance as you move forward energetically and physically. So if you guys resonate with that, please reach out to me. I also have the Dream Interpretation Tarot reading still available, and a new relationship spread down below as well. Oh, and the monthly spread that I normally do here for the reading, I will offer as a personal monthly month ahead reading for you guys if you want that. All right, so thank you so much for being here, supporting the channel. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing if you want to stick around to see more videos. I put out monthly horoscope readings for all of the signs, as well as collective ascension of humanity updates, like energy updates and general spiritual information, channeled messages, and chit chats. So thanks again, guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. We will see you next time. Bye.